wonderful people. It is Rachel Archelaus and Harry Kroner here with Cosmic Connections. Oh,
hi there.
I paused for Harry to say hi.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about health and how people who are starseeds or have an ET connection will often reject, commonplace health stuff, doctors, medications, and from an early age. So it seems to be just something that we are born with the innate knowledge that, that stuff really isn't for us. I know personally, I used to run away from my mother when she tried to give me cough syrup or anything like that. I really haven't taken any medication aside from a couple things throughout my life. I don't go to the doctor, and I definitely feel taken care of by my beautiful friends who help out my body and keep me healthy. And I could go on, and I will. But Harry, what's your experience with this?
Well, my mom was an RN, was a nurse, so the more conventional medicine was something that was given in a more even more than usual as an option. But I still know, and I feel that our own ability to heal is very powerful. Our energetic possibilities to heal, and I do energy work now, the Marconics, and I've done many other energy work, and I know that its power and its ability to heal and clear the body, and it's. Again, I got to say, I came to it a little later, but I still always kind of found regular medicine and general aversion to regular medicine and the treatment itself to try and avoid it as much as possible. I think I gave the example before, but I just want to repeat that, is that when I was like 4 years old, I was diagnosed by some form of leukemia. And it didn't. My parents were like really couldn't believe that, and another test, and that came positive as well. And then they mentioned something to me, and they're like, "Oh, something's not good. I better fix it." And I know I'm pretty certain by now that I have been helped by my other friends I did mention and have it cleared. And the next test that they did to double check for the third time, it came negative and clear, and everything was fine. So interventions of this sort are more rare, but it's definitely more common among people who are starseeds and that have more of a connection. So that's generally my experience, and I know that I want to mention something about that that I don't want to forget. It's about there's some level of stigma about implants and about implants that has been placed upon us, and realize that all of them were placed on us with our agreement. None of those have been placed without any agreement, at least on some level. Same as abductions. They're not necessarily pleasant and that kind of stuff, but there's some soul contract, soul agreement on higher levels that you have agreed to that. And a lot of those limiters, and I will simply call them limiters, have been placed just to hold back your level of energy. And I've helped many of my clients to help, and at some point they are still needed, because again it's placed so you won't burst your body up with the amount of your actual natural amount of energy and frequency. There's a three-dimensional body, so at this time you can let go of some of the implants, but not all of them are bad. Not all of them are necessarily there to support you and help you. So it's there's a lot of talk about the implants, and realize that it's not all bad. It's something to protect. Some of them are there to help and monitor and help create better understanding about it, about your biological function and all that stuff, so they can monitor and help you when needed.
I think especially for hybrids who have a further altered DNA, they need to keep an eye on them because our systems are different than normal humans. I know for myself, a lot of symptoms of the ascension for hybrids is that for years I was dizzy all the time. My heart would have a regular heartbeat. I still have that. It's nothing of medical concern. It's just one of those symptoms of my energy and my body not exactly meshing. I grew up with autoimmune disorders and all sorts of stuff, and I've had to be really careful with the food that I eat. A lot of us awake people are very sensitive to food, and our body's vibration raises, and so we need to kind of match that with the food. And of course, there are a lot of other factors that come into play with how we treat our bodies. But I think the number one thing to look at with that part of it is that a lot of people see it as a nuisance or they're doing something wrong, but it's really just a tool, right? Like, we're better receivers when we have a cleaner body, when we have a higher water content in us. And so if you just look at your limitations as a tool for your growth, that often will help the mindset shift a bit. Because I know I was really angry for a long time that I could only eat I basically eat a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit, meat, dairy, some starchy stuff. Like, it just doesn't sit well with me. And instead of being angry about it, seeing it as a tool really helped me to move forward. And I know that could be true for a lot of people. So if you have Crohn's, if you've got acne, if you've got a lot of these symptoms that can be helped with food, it's often helpful to go there, really simplify it down and see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think we're also very sensitive to medications. Like, I didn't take much growing up, but I remember I was babysitting one time and I had really bad cramps. And all of you females out there, sometimes they can just be so debilitating. And the person I was sitting for, the mom gave me 2 Motrins, which is like aspirin. And most people could take them by the handful if they wanted. But I took 2 and, I think I fell asleep on the couch, which is pretty bad. But hours later, when the mom got home, I started driving home and I was high, like really high. It was really bad. My car felt like it was floating as I was driving down the highway. And so I realized this and I pulled off the highway at the wrong exit. And I had to park where my father worked just to not be high anymore so that I could keep going. So, yeah, drug sensitivities, food sensitivities, I think that's all really a part of having a higher vibrational body, bringing different energies to Earth, having different DNA. Our bodies have to adapt too. Have you found that, Harry, with you and food?
Yes, and especially the more you raise your frequency and you allow more of it, you become more and more sensitive. I can definitely say, like, no, alcohol and that kind of stuff, it's just can't take it in the just don't want to take it in launch chronic because it's just only devastated the body, but it just feels like it's just and again, I've been told very clearly it distorts the energy system, the aura and all that stuff. It really distorts it, becomes warped. So we feel it actually. So that kind of stuff, and definitely medicine. I've avoided now because I could feel it. That it affects us more than usual. The level of sensitivity increases, and it's definitely sensitive to foods and stuff like that, certain foods. But I also want to talk a little bit about the healing that can be provided, and I've done many meditations about it in my Starseed group, but I've seen also like some of my clients to go there, and when they really reach into the spaceships and go into healing chambers and receive some significant healing. There was a guy called Adrian Devere who wrote a couple of books about. He had something very special. He was able to connect with something that I think a program that is no longer working at this point, but they were actually creating on higher dimension about in the same space but in parallel space but in another dimension. They're creating like literally hospitals in which they would tell them like to bring people with heavy sickness, and they would just basically take, for example, if the liver is completely damaged or about to die, whatever it is, and they would just take basically a very small sample of the cells, and they would regrow an entire new kidney on the spaceships that is obviously DNA compatible because it's from the same person. They'll grow entire, and they'll have, okay, come back in 3 weeks when it actually is grown. And come back and we'll do basically psychic surgery and do that. And those people immediately felt better. And that was really interesting to see and read how they actually performed that. It literally had full clinics attached to his home on the other side of the wall, which is interesting as far as to the concept of it. And I believe those were Zeta as well. You
could think that John of God does something similar. He does psychic surgery, and he has the entities that can even, you don't have to be at his clinic. He can do it remotely, and really interesting.
Very interesting stuff, and I believe this very much so because now I do some of that work in Marconics, and I've been guided sometimes in personal sessions with clients to, okay, now you have to get up, now move your hand, like let the energy flow for you, and I feel and I start working in specific areas for the people's bodies and open them up, like, again, psychically open them up and allow and basically help in surgeries and movement, and people basically say that they report very clear difference in how they feel. I can't do it all the time. That's why I don't even publish it as much as like, oh, I can do this. No, I don't do it because it only happens very rarely in some conditions, and I can't guarantee results, that kind of stuff. And that's something that's important to know as well. And even people I know that go and ask to go frequently to the healing chambers in the ships, they do feel better. However, again, because it's mostly energy work and frequency enhancement work, some of them is more substantial as they receive, again, like I just described, they actually receive new organs, transplants, new improvements and enhancements, especially, as you said, like for hybrids who are they need constant tuning. And it's true. It's just needed. So it's fascinating. The whole field is fascinating, and you can do that and simply ask, because this is, and I've been told actually fairly recently that everybody has the right to go to those healing chambers, and everybody's welcome. So just allow yourself to go there and imagine you are reaching that place into a ship and enter it, and you will enjoy definitely a certain level of healing.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. So ask for help if you're suffering from a physical problem, or you just want more energy, you want some, tune up, like Harry was saying, just ask for it because it's available to you. I feel confident that I'm taken care of. And I did for a long time, even before I really got confirmation of that. And so if you have a hunch that, you're getting your medical care in a different place, not just at the doctor's office here, then investigate or feel confident in that. You don't have to really carry on in doubt because, you can even ask for a dream. I had a client of mine email me a few weeks ago and say that she had a dream that she saw herself being worked on a ship, and that was all she needed to really just relax and feel better, knowing that things were taken care of, and she could monitor it, of course. And we're not saying don't go to your doctor. We're not saying that you should neglect yourself here. Definitely not. Definitely do what your follow your instincts, take care of yourself, and don't ignore any of that. But we are being
Yeah.
taken care of elsewhere as well.
Right. And they actually are quite adamant about the self-care. And
Yes.
maybe it's just really important to mention this in this part, because they're like, how do you expect, like, how do you expect, it's like putting the wrong type of gasoline into your car. If you put diesel in your car and it's just gonna choke and die on the side of the road, what did you expect? You're filling yourself with the wrong stuff, with poisons and toxins and things that are just completely not supporting and inflammatory inducing foods, and you expect us to fix you. It's also like, come on, seriously, just take care of yourself, do the best you can. And again, I gotta admit, I'm not perfect at that. I'm eating so much, but some of my family look at me a little weird. Like, why is eating so clean and not eating meats and not eating that and not eating. So I don't care. It's like, I got to take care of my vessel, my vehicle as best I can. So please do. So it's really important to do so. And as we do that and move into a better and better expression of ourselves, know that you can and allow yourself. And I see that as, like, for example, the Marconics energy healing that I do. I know, and I call upon beings of highest vibration frequency to help me in this process. And people do report that, like, sometimes I'm in their heads, like, oh, somebody's putting their hands very, very gently on my feet, and I'm in the head, and there's no one else in the room, at least not in this three-dimensional. So there's many ways of receiving help. Just asking for it, as we just said, it will be tremendously helpful. But again, don't just like think, okay, they're going to fix me. We have a hand in it. It's a hand in hand. We got to do our share in taking care of this body that we receive, and we are doing this, and they'll allow us to do and help us as much as possible. And it is exactly as you said, to feel that sense of, like, I've been taken care of. I'm healthier. I'm feeling better, just not just only the food, but physical activity and that kind of stuff, to really care for everything we do, and doing the right stretching for the body now, and like that kind of stuff. But I feel that I'll give you another example, that having a straight back, any chiropractor will tell you, it's basically allowing the light to go through the spine much better. So if you have a little bit of a hunch or a not straight back, allow yourself to really focus on having a very straight back. And I was pretty bad about that, but I really feel that when I'm more connected, it's the first thing that happens, and they actually kind of make me do it. They're gonna straighten my back. Like, oh, how much better now! We can allow everything flow much better. And I'm like, oh yes, it really is. And in I'm not a chiropractor, but it's called in the chiropractic field, it's called subluxation, and sublux is for loose, for light. So it's the light. The light needs to come through, not just like the neurological part of it through our nervous system, but is the light itself that needs to come through. So it's interesting how it all kind of correlates and all kind of connects. So some people, even in the past, as chiropractors, have picked up on that, that it's something here that's more than just a physical that needs to be operating better.
Mm-hmm. It's true. We're ascending through the physical, so we're using these bodies that we have to be tremendous receivers and transmitters. So we got to take care of them. It's not just, being spiritual isn't just about the higher chakras and the higher dimensions. It's about really living here and embodying what we've got. And yeah, and I think there's plenty of information out there now for you to find out what is best for you. It may be different from the person next to you, but you'll be able to figure it out by researching it, seeing what feels good in your body.
Exactly. Very good.
Yeah, cool. So again, if you guys have any comments on this, leave them for us on YouTube or wherever you're seeing this. Leave us a rating on iTunes. We would love that. And let us know what you want to hear. Harry, you have a closing statement?
No, I just want to take care of yourself and ask for help, and know it is there for you. All those wonderful beings of light are just surrounding you, and they need your permission, because you have the free will in this world, and we have to make sure that we give them permission to work on us. So make sure you say that to the highest beings of the highest vibrational frequency. I give you permission to help me and heal this body. So that's important.
Perfect.
And that's it. Any other questions? Just talk to us. We'll love to hear from you.
Awesome. So until next time, we're sending you lots and lots of love. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.